Hey, this is Stacy from Let's Cook Y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We hope you'll enjoy the content on our channel and you'll consider hitting that red subscribe button. We've got a brand new video for you guys this week. In lieu of a traditional What's for Dinner, this is what our Christmas food and meals looked like this year. As with most people, with COVID and the pandemic, our Christmas did not look like it normally does. We normally see both sides of our family and have lots of big get-togethers and parties. This was a much quieter, subdued affair. We did have one get-together with Tim's family, and we did something we've never done before. We stayed home, just the two of us, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we hope you enjoy all the food in this video and that you had a very Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, y'all.
It is an awesome morning when I wake up and the elves have brought a bag full of delicious donuts.
Who wouldn't like a bag of donuts?
I don't know. I'm so lucky to have a nice little elf that goes out into the cold to buy me donuts.
Well, I had a headache this morning, so I needed something for it.
Fresh coffee and fresh donuts ought to do the trick. I gotta dig in here and see what all's in here. Yummy! Look at that bag of donuts! I'm so excited. Thank you, sweetheart. Love you.
The first thing I've made, we've shown before. I do eggs in my Instant Pot using the 5-5-5 method. I split them open, take the yolks and add some mayonnaise, a dab of yellow mustard, salt and pepper, and stuff them back and make some simple deviled eggs. This was one of the things we took the weekend before Christmas to Tim's family's get together, and I'll show you everything else we made and then the food we had with Tim's family. I actually made this twice. One is a test run and farmed it out to friends and neighbors. I took my chocolate chip skillet cookie that I make and substituted about half of the chocolate chips with red and green M&Ms. This recipe uses white sugar, brown sugar, an egg yolk, an egg, baking soda, kosher salt, vanilla, and then chocolate chips and M&Ms. I did do this twice as a test run. I wanted to make sure that substituting the M&Ms wouldn't throw off the volume or the time that it took to bake. We've shown this recipe before on our channel. I'll leave a link to the recipe video. I use a cast iron skillet that I grease lightly with some shortening and then just pat the dough out. This usually bakes in my oven at 350 in about 20-24 minutes. I prefer this skillet cookie if I'm taking it somewhere to be cuttable, so I do always take a toothpick and make sure that it's clean all the way through so that I can cut it like into a pie-shaped wedge. Usually it takes about 24 or 25 minutes. This is the second iteration I did. I did add more red and green M&Ms on top to make it a little prettier. This skillet cookie always turns out awesome. It's one of my favorite recipes.
In addition to the skillet cookie, gonna make a pecan pie. My mom always made the one that was on the back of the Casserole syrup bottle, and I just compared it. I just compared the recipe that's on the back of the bottle now in 2020 as opposed to when my mom was probably making this thing in the 70s and 80s, and it's a little different. They've got a little more pecans. Actually, I think everything's the same except her recipe says 1 1/4 cups of pecans. So I'll add that and see if I have room for another 1/4 cup. And put it in a deep dish pie crust. I don't make my own pie crust. I've never tried. Well, I don't tend to make my own pie crust. This one is quick and easy. Throw together a pecan pie.
So another culinary debate. Do you crack your eggs on the side of the bowl on a flat surface like the countertop or into a little bowl? I just crack mine on the countertop. This is 3 eggs lightly beaten. Then you'll add 2 tablespoons of melted butter, about a teaspoon of vanilla, and I do it twice because I didn't grab the teaspoon. This is a 1/2 teaspoon measure.
I thought that was going to empty that bottle. It's got about 1/2 teaspoon left. 1 cup of Casserole. I did try spraying the measuring cup, hoping that it wouldn't stick so bad. One cup of sugar. Tim likes pecans. I may put the other 1/4 cup since they've updated their recipe. Easiest pie in the whole wide world. Now I know why my mom always liked to make it for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Not only did she and my dad like it, but with everything else you've got to cook, it's easy. Tim likes it. I will skip and eat chocolate, the skillet cookie or something chocolate. I've never been a pecan pie fan, in spite of being a sugar-aholic. The good thing about it, it bakes 350 just like the skillet cookie. Takes twice as long for about 50 to 55 minutes.
Always be sure to put this one on a cookie sheet in case anything spills over. Most pies, but especially this pecan pie. But this one was delicious. We went to see Tim's parents and brothers and their family the weekend before Christmas. His mom went all out. She made a sweet potato casserole, turnip greens and butter beans, my favorite, a big old pot of chicken and dumplings, some of her world famous homemade dressing, ham and some yeast rolls, and then some cranberry sauce. And for the kids, we had some mac and cheese in little cups to make them happy, and the deviled eggs I had made. And another reason to love Christmas, all the sweets. His mom also made a pecan pie. My skillet cookie, we didn't get to my pecan pie till later. They had made a lot of candy. Our nephew and his son and daughter had made some homemade gingerbread cookies, which were delicious. I've had this recipe for so long, I make it once a year. This is overnight sticky buns. You start off by buttering really well a bundt pan. In a small mixing bowl, I mix together 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1 3-ounce package of cook and serve, not instant, butterscotch pudding, just the dry mix. And you mix that all together really, really well. It does take a bit to stir and get all the little lumps out and get it incorporated. Take the buttered bundt pan and some chopped nuts. I have always used pecans. You could probably use walnuts, but I just love pecans with this one. This makes the topping. You spread them around as well as you can on the bottom and as much as you can get it to stick to the sides. Then you start laying in the frozen bread dough rolls. I've always used the Rhodes brand. I used 24 rolls. I put them in 3 layers and intersperse the dry pudding, brown sugar, cinnamon mixture in at each layer. So I usually do about 8 and times 3, and then end by pouring the rest of the dry mix on top. Then you take the rest of the stick of butter and cut it into little tiny pieces and sprinkle it all over the top of the dough. This night was really cold in our house. I think normally this butter kind of starts melting in overnight, but it was still there in the morning. This is what it looks like before I covered it with a towel that night. It needs to sit on the countertop at room temperature for about 8 or 9 hours. And then when you get up in the morning, ta-da, the Rhodes rolls should have risen quite a bit. Like I said, normally the butter will melt a little more, but it was really cold in the house. We had a cold Christmas for a change at our house. So you bake this one. Bake it 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes, and I usually tint it after about 20.
You ready? Are you ready?
Are you?
Yes.
I'm ready. Oh, I hope they don't stick. Hard to do it with those hands. Oh, the stuff came out everywhere. Here we go. I'll scrape it out. I can never get these out, but Tim is a master. I would not eat these without him because I can't get them out of the bundt pan. But Christmas Eve and Christmas breakfast in our house this year. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas. I'm even better at eating them.
You're than getting them out of the bundt pan. Let's dig in.
Oh, yes.
It was pretty till somebody started digging on it. I apparently needed to
Still
get you a
pretty.
full-size plate rather than a small plate.
Uh-huh. Give me a little bit of the
Ooey
toppings.
gooey. It's smoking.
Perfect.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
Merry Christmas.
Love you.
Since this was the first time in our married life that we ever stayed home just the two of us for Christmas, we decided to do something different. This was something I used to make as a teenager. I haven't made in a very long time. We decided to have some appetizers on Christmas Eve, and this is a shrimp dip I used to make. You take a package of cream cheese and let it get really soft. Add, it used to say a small container, but I think it was 8 ounces of French onion dip. And then seasonings to taste. I added some Worcestershire sauce, a dash of hot sauce, some Old Bay, then some dried or minced onion, and then I add a lot more. You mix all that together and get everything seasoned to taste before you add the shrimp.
You can also use canned shrimp, which is what I used to do. It was actually the first time I've tried it with fresh shrimp. Christmas Eve at our house is a small affair. It's just me and Tim, so we're keeping it really light and easy. We made a little tray of appetizers in the shape of a tree, some nuts and crackers and sausage and cheese and olives and fruits. And I made the shrimp dip on the side, crackers and chips. I actually purchased this crab dip, Cajun crab dip from Kroger. Tim didn't like it very much, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. Thankfully, I have a lot of shrimp dip. So we will be grazing on chips and dip and charcuterie, crudité, whatever you want to call it. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas.
That'll be tomorrow. This is Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Again, we've never stayed home on Christmas, just the two of us. It was cold. There was going to be a football game that afternoon, so I asked him if he wanted the traditional ham or turkey and all the sides. I didn't really want to go to that much trouble for the two of us. He said whatever I wanted to cook. Since it was cold and there was football, I decided to make chili. I put in some diced onion in my small soup pot. Add a pound of ground beef, or you could use turkey and brown that. I added 1 can of undrained kidney beans, and then later I decided to add some more. I added a large can of tomato sauce and a few squirts of ketchup. Then I started with the seasonings, a whole bunch of awesome chili powder, some garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, and this is another recipe much like the shrimp dip that we made the day before for Christmas Eve. I just taste and adjust. If you've not been here before, I'm a big believer in tasting as you go along and adjusting the seasonings. I did add kosher salt, some black and some white pepper, kept tasting with my spoon, adjusting, and my mother always taught me if I used canned tomato products to add a pinch of sugar, more chili powder, because it makes it more better and more like chili. Adjust it to your taste.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's ready now?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even make you cornbread.
Fritos.
I brought you Fritos. Red for you. Green for me. That's plenty. I'm not hungry. Not, well, a little more. I just meant you didn't have to fill it all the way to the top.
I understand. No, a little more.
A little more. Merry Christmas.
I'll put you a little bit more than me.
I was supposed to say, no, you need to go
Gotta
back.
get a bonus from me.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
There she'll go. She just needs somebody to get away from.
Got these new bars. Come on.
Oh!
She's I'm trying.
Ooh, look at that.
I'm trying, but Daddy's holding me back with that finger.
Oh, I have it. Come on.
There we go.
Oh, honey, look at that. Look at that girl.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. You can do it.
Look at that girl.
You can do it. Yes.
Come on, look at that girl.
You got this.
We were so happy to see Allie starting to walk. It was a highlight of our Christmas. We hope you and your family had a truly blessed Christmas. Thanks so much for stopping by.